G'day team, it's Chris speaking. Welcome or welcome back. Today we are doing video 4 in the FTM Sex and Intimacy series where I'm going to be talking about developing dysphoria. Just a quick content warning for those of you who are new to this series. Just be wary that I am talking about sex and intimacy as a transmasculine person, so if that makes you uncomfortable, then it's probably a good idea to click away from this video as we talk about anatomy and things like that. If it is something that you do want to watch but aren't comfortable doing now, bookmark it, come back to it later when you are more comfortable and in a better mental state. I'm very aware that this topic can be quite dysphoria inducing for people, so just a quick word of warning. What I mean by developing dysphoria is that as you go through transition, different dysphoria pain points become prevalent in your life as you go through transition, basically. Dr. Z has a really good video on why some people don't feel that they experience bottom dysphoria, and it sort of talks about those shifting dysphoria points throughout your transition, and that bottom dysphoria can come much later. That plays a lot into sex and intimacy, particularly for me. Just remember, as always, what I talk about here is my experience. I haven't gone and surveyed 100 trans masculine people to talk about their experiences because, like I said, it's very dysphoria inducing and I don't want to make anyone have a panic attack, basically, or get uncomfortable when they don't need to be. So this is just my experience here. When I started transitioning, so this is pre-hormones, I've only just realized that I'm transgender. I'm going to a gender therapist, and sex is basically at a standstill for me because I don't understand what's happening to my body. What happened there was social dysphoria. So at the forefront of my mind was, okay, well, I'm a man. I now need to show the world that I'm a man, and I need to present as masculine as possible so that I get clocked as a dude rather than getting clocked as a female. And that's where my brain is right now. That is what I'm focusing on. Sex and intimacy, not on the table. Just need to make sure that society sees me as I see me. Once I'd gone through that process, I'd been signed off on hormones. That's great. It had been a little while. My partner and I were wanting to be intimate, but sex had changed, and I needed to make sure that she was seeing me as a male when previously she had not, because we had been in a lesbian identified relationship, and I still had the same body, but my identity had changed, and it was very hard to navigate that social dysphoria of her seeing me as a man rather than her seeing me as a woman. Once I was on hormones and things started shifting with my body, now it doesn't happen right away, but it does feel better because you've got that T juice flowing through your veins, and that's what you want. The focus shifted, or the dysphoria shifted, to top surgery and my chest. So I'd never had a really large chest. I was very blessed to have a small chest, and top surgery basically just took a little bit of fat away. If you've seen my trans tape video, that was my chest pre-surgery. Very small, very fortunate to have what I did, but once I was on hormones and those changes had started happening, that focus was then on my chest. So the dysphoria developed from not being on testosterone and not passing naturally to now I'm on testosterone, but my chest is here, and that's what I'm now focusing on, particularly in those intimate moments. It got to the point where I was being intimate with my partner. I couldn't take the binder off. I couldn't even take the shirt off just to get down to the binder. Didn't like it, didn't want a bar of it, or it was completely off the table. So that focus shifted, and then once I'd had top surgery and we were ready to be intimate again, it now focuses on lower surgery, or bottom dysphoria, I should say. And that's where the focus is now, because I've not had bottom surgery, nor do I know if I want bottom surgery, but because that is the next box to tick in a traditional transition, definitely still valid if you don't want surgeries. A lot of people don't get bottom surgery. I don't know if I want bottom surgery. It's not something that I think about daily that I have to have. My bottom dysphoria was very limited to sex and intimacy. I don't really think about it. Otherwise, it's just I'm a dude with different parts. It doesn't matter to me until I'm in the bedroom, and even then it's specifically in the bedroom with a female partner because the anatomy is the same, and it's very confusing for my brain to get around that. But that's what I mean, is that dysphoria has now shifted from hormones. I now present and get clocked as a male 90% of the time. I have a masculine chest. I'm not worried about being seen without a shirt on anymore, but I am worried in those intimate moments, occasionally with lower surgery, when I'm with a female partner, and obviously my fiance is female, so that's a weird space to navigate for us. Your dysphoria is going to chop and change basically with you as you transition. So you were worried about one thing, now you're not. Great, this is the next thing. And I would assume that that would continue to be the case if you were a transmasculine person who underwent bottom surgery. That dysphoria may change again. It may get to the point where you don't have dysphoria anymore because you are fully comfortable. And if that's the case, that's freaking awesome. But I know that it's not always the case, because there's always dysphoria things that we think about. But that's what I wanted to talk about today, was just that as you go through transition, whatever transition that you are going through, that dysphoria is going to shift, and it's going to affect your sex life, and your intimate moments, like it has mine. It's completely normal if it does, and it shifts and it changes, and you're like, why can I do this when I couldn't do it before? Or why is this now at the forefront of my mind when it wasn't before? And it's just because your brain is now hyper-focused on some other aspect of transition, and it's going to affect your sex life. That's it for the video. If you like the content, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of it, then click on my face, which will be somewhere down on the screen. I've got 2 more of these videos. If I've missed something that you want to know about when it comes to sex and intimacy, hit me up in the comments or on my Instagram, and I will be happy to talk about it and add it on to the end of the series. And yeah, I'll catch you next time. Okay, bye.